For the past about 6 months or so, I have had to endure a relentless amount of personal attacks, lies, and misrepresentations that are intentionally disingenuous in order to align me with beliefs that I've actively spoken out against. This is another instance of people trying to paint me as a Nazi. Now, this is a very, in my opinion, an extreme accusation to make. This is a crazy accusation to make. So anyway, I'll read the first post here, and this is Asmongold asserts that Nazis burned down the Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology in 1933, not because it was a safe space for queer people, but because it was written in Jewish, not German. That's actually not what I was talking about. This person's just actually completely wrong. I was talking about the book burnings. So this is what I said in the clip.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books that the Nazis burned books on gender sciences.
They did do that. Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German.
Which was me misspeaking. I meant Hebrew.
It was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis.
Right. A retaking of Germany for Germans.
They also burned porn. Yeah, they burned a lot of stuff. And I wish people like this. It's disappointing that you can't have genuine conversations because people try to just like kind of, handpick facts and like not talk about things in an honest way.
This is the kind of stuff that people try to take out of context where like they're saying, oh, Asmon thinks that it wasn't. It's actually because I'm trying to discuss the actual real extent of it, and the true extent of it is much worse than what's being communicated.
Also for context, and this is going to be extremely important for the rest of the video. People are mainly trying to get Asmon banned because of chat's reaction following this clip. We meticulously went back to check, and every single one of these chatters were banned, and they were banned days before this tweet was even made.
These bad actors were banned days before any of this drama happened. Now, this is a person, I actually didn't know who this was. So this is the same person who's trying to get me in trouble on Twitch. Let's listen to what they had to say about everybody's favorite commentator, CatDany.
Hey, the guy who said it was on site at TwitchCon if he saw CatDany.
What if I want the satisfaction?
I mean, listen.
Yes.
All I'm saying is on site,
So we have on screen two radical political activists, which is probably the most kind way that I can categorize these two individuals, that are arguing between which of them is going to be able to beat up CatDany when they're at TwitchCon. And they're openly doing this on Twitch. The point that I'm making is that these are people who are advocating for violence on a regular basis, and this is something that happened again. This was earlier this month. This is the same person who, as a response to a video about a CEO, posted a picture right here of the gun that was used to kill Shinzo Abe. So this is a person that not only is advocating for violence against other streamers, but they're advocating for violence against other people in general. This should not be tolerated in any capacity. If you are advocating for or promoting the use of violence against people in a non-self-defensive way, I think you should get banned. These are the people who are trying, and by the way, I wasn't even talking about burning down the Institute, I was talking about the book burning, so you didn't even listen to the clip. You're talking about something totally different. And so these are people who have been on a concerted effort to misrepresent me on a regular basis, while at the same time allowing and facilitating and promoting political violence. This is something that is guaranteed 100% against the terms of service. We'll go over, of course, obviously, Hassan also had to chirp about this as well. He was not happy about it.
It's a bit of a miss. Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German.
He's not happy. He's not happy.
There is literally no reason to fucking go to school, study political science, spend years and years of trying to understand how politics works, the importance of learning history. I'm not an elitist by any means. I think anybody can do this. This is a fucking silly ass job.
But
it is just crazy that like what is declared good enough in terms of political commentary on the right-wing side of things. That's crazy. Number one political commentator on the platform, still
Hassan is really getting upset about this #1 political commentator on the platform. Hassan is the #1 political commentator on the platform. I cover some political issues. Hassan only covers political issues. I've never said that. I've never insinuated that. Now, if he's mad that the videos that I do get more views or something, that's fine. That's okay.
It is pretty crazy that Asmongold watched that fucking Ethan Klein video, and then
he's unhappy that I watched the content nuke video. Now, I understand why he's unhappy. I think that if I was him, I would also be unhappy.
His chat kept coming in here to be like, you're anti-Semitic terrorism lover. You should be banned. Why aren't you banned yet? Meanwhile,
I mean, to be fair, Hassan, you have been very positive towards people who are on the national terror list. I mean, you have been. Like, this is a fact. Like, this isn't a debatable reality. You interviewed a terrorist, and I defended you interviewing the terrorist. I even defended you with that. I said it's okay because I want people to be able to talk to people. But I didn't see the whole thing, and I didn't realize you glazed him that hard. You didn't have to do that.
Bro, are we about to have a Houthi rebel on stream? Yes, brother. I'm a journalist. Does he know what One Piece is?
He's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way! We love you too, man.
I love you. I love you so much.
It's crazy.
This fucking chat's going based Nazis. But hey, no, wait. That's what a lot of my naysayers wanted, though. They wanted someone.
Now, I'm not going to bring up the point when Ethan was getting attacked in Hassan's chat, and then Hassan said he couldn't control everybody saying things in his chat. And now he's mad at me for not having every single person that's banned in my chat. I just find this to be ironic. I find it to be very ironic.
Well, thank God I'm here then. First point, every singular chatter that was spamming was banned days before the tweet was made. But of course Hassan didn't go back to check and just run with the story. Second point, Hassan had this to say after Ethan begged him to moderate his chat.
Do you care that your chat is calling me racist? Do you make any attempt to modify?
I have not looked at my chat.
Moderate that at all?
I have not looked at my chat at all, but you have
I just opened it, but don't you have moderators? Do you care at all about what your audience says about me?
There's 32,000 people in here right now. I can't stop people from viewing you a certain way.
One can only assume what chat might have been spamming when Twitch literally had to change the rules around the use of the word Zionist after it was paired with every derogatory term imaginable. This time he had most of the chat covered by Ethan's cam. Let's check other times. This is a letter from a Columbia Jewish student denouncing harassment by other campus students and receiving no support.
I wonder why we recoil when people scream resist by any means, telling us that we are all inbred and that we have no culture. We shudder when
This is literally chat's immediate reaction after he said the Jewish students were being called inbreds.
On the way out, a pro-Hamas mob started chasing us, calling us in the middle of campus, calling us inbred, that we have no culture. One of them grabbed my friend's Israeli flag in the middle of campus, carried it to a mob by the gate that were communicating with the angry mobs.
Now you're probably thinking, but editor, surely Hassan banned all of these chatters, who coincidentally are all subs as well. Well, let's check, shall we? All right, first sub on top, Jedhug. Uh-oh. They were never banned, and he's still chatting to this day. Let's do another one, the Red Star. Big sub gifter as well. Nope, never banned for that either. What about Jordan, 3 years sub, and still going strong? What about Lund? Literally chatting while I'm making this video. Okay, I think I made my point clear. Back to you, Baldy.
And see, this is the difference between a lot of the other extremism on Twitch and the extremism that's on my platform. The difference between extremism in my chat and extremism in other people's chat is that in my chat, people actually do get banned for it. Me saying that these books were burned not because they were about gender specifically, but just because they were non-German. Why don't we look it up and why don't we find out for ourselves? How about we watch the video from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum? Do we think this is maybe a good, is this maybe a good source?
In 1933, in April, Nazi German students decided to organize a nationwide book burning program to eliminate foreign influence, to purify German culture as they saw it.
That's right.
So you have committees of students.
So this is exactly what I said.
Meeting with professors together, deciding what categories of books in these university libraries.
Let's get to the categories.
Would count as un-German. They didn't see themselves as suppressing.
Un-German. Let's go back and watch the original clip.
And it was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was
This is, again, my source for this is the Holocaust Museum of the United States.
In each German university city, 34 of them in all, thousands of people gathered together at a public place in which books that had been confiscated either by the students themselves, often with the help of police, were brought and dumped in a pile. Student leaders exhorted their followers and the listening crowds to swear an oath by the fire to destroy and combat subversive and un-German literature.
It's like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis.
For the national treason against our soldiers in World War I, we're burning Hemingway's books.
Joseph
Hemingway? Wow. That doesn't seem like it's about gender at all.
It is amazing to me, the variety of books that was
very big
burnt,
variety, see?
On that night and thereafter.
Among the authors whose books were burned were Ernest Hemingway, both Mann brothers, Thomas and Heinrich.
There's the German writer, Erich Maria Remarque, who wrote the famous book All Quiet on the Western Front.
Another gender ideology book. And then also Hassan would probably, I don't know if Hassan knows this or not, Hassan would be very upset to hear this. They also burned some of Karl Marx. They burned Lenin. They burned Trotsky. They burned a lot of communist books as well. Yeah, not Marx. Yeah, they did. They got rid of them.
That they were all considered dangerous by the Nazis.
Yes.
Reading about Anne Frank, they discover that they are that little girl, and that what happened to that little girl was a supreme act of injustice.
This is, I mean, like, I guess maybe we won't make the Houthi joke, but like, man, it's really hard not to, isn't it? It's really hard not to.
It's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank, basically, okay? Being able to talk to Anne Frank.
So they connect to her in a way that no political sermon or propaganda could effect. And for tyrants, control is the main thing. They don't like this unpredictability. They don't want the citizens to connect to the unknown parts of themselves, of their past, and to connect to the world.
So for a totalitarian...
That's, again, why people want to get me banned, too. It's because I talk about things in ways that people don't approve of, and so they want to destroy my platform and get me in trouble because they don't want me to be able to have a voice. That's the reason.
The only thing that they cannot put in jail or prevent from physically leaving is your mind, is your imagination. That cannot be captured.
Which is why freedom of speech is so important, and it's why I'm such a big advocate for it. Is because I know that the people who try to limit freedom of speech and they try to, put limits on it and stop people from saying certain things, when you live with your mind in a cage, that's only the beginning. It's never where it stops.
But the idea of freedom should be kept alive, even if it's between two people or three people. Talk about it.
Fucking based. Absolutely fucking based.
Think about it, live about it, and hope about it.
And so anyway, so basically a clip of me discussing the fact that the Nazi book burnings were not exclusive to LGBT, but they were in fact for a lot of things that were anti-German culture and things that were involved with people's being Jewish, communism, etc. This is true, and my source for this is the Holocaust Museum. It's very sad, but one thing that I learned that I keep learning over and over is that when people can't win in the free marketplace of ideas, they have to resort to lies. The sad thing is none of them will acknowledge this and keep calling you a Nazi. Well, the thing is that all of the people that have done that, they've already completely gone hollow. There's nothing that like I can do to bring them back from the psychosis that they've brought themselves into. But the best that I can do is to offer a measured and, to the best of my ability, educated perspective on why these things happen. What's being discussed here is how these topics and how these patterns are re-emerging in today's society. And I think that it's a very important component to this, that this was done by primarily young people. Because it's really, in a lot of cases, the contemporary wisdom nowadays is that older people are more conservative and younger people are more liberal. But I think in cases of economic depression or national depression, sometimes the opposite can become true. And this is an example of it. And this is what I've been talking about. This is what I was saying before about how, like, you know, Hitler was getting popular on TikTok, etc. So, like, you guys see how all this is fitting together? How all this is coming together? Well, this is why it's important to talk about this history, is because in a lot of cases, I don't think history repeats itself, but it rhymes. And so when I see certain things happening nowadays, when I talk about the resurgence of these things happening, the reason why I talk about the resurgence of these things like this happening is because I see the precursors of it because of the precursors of it last time that it happened. That's the reality. And so when I'm discussing a topic like what was being discussed in here, trying to broaden the perspective of it, I was actually saying that this isn't good, even if you don't like any trans stuff at all. In a lot of cases, oppressive regimes will take a couple of things that are agreeable and then package them into tyranny and then hopefully sell that to the masses, and the masses buy it because of those couple of bad things. I think that maybe even off stream, Hassan should actually spend some time. It's only 4 hours. And if you look at a lot of the comments here, Asmon is lenient on Hassan. There are a lot of people who are criticizing me because I didn't go hard enough on Hassan, and I actually tried to give him the benefit of the doubt the entire time. Because I try to maintain consistency, I try to maintain a lack of bias, and I try to maintain a degree of decorum to make sure that when I'm talking about something, that I do so in the most authentic and accurate way. Now, do mistakes happen? And yes, I did misspeak with saying it was in Jewish. That's very fair. But I think that that's not really the focus of what the conversation was about, and only the most dishonest person would focus on that instead of what the actual context was and the actual meaning behind it. With a lot of these people, if they're worried that they're unhappy that, you know, my content is doing well, etc., maybe they should think about why that is. And I think that one of the big reasons why that happens is because it's honest. And more important than it being honest is that it attempts to be honest. Mistakes are made, mistakes will be made, and mistakes will continue to be made. In the future, I will say somebody is speaking in Chinese when I actually mean Mandarin. I will. But the essence behind what I'm saying, I will endeavor to do my best that it is in fact true. I'm not trying to spread propaganda. I'm not trying to spread lies. I'm trying to be fair, accurate, authentic, and reasonable. And I think that's what a huge contingency of people are looking for in a sea of lies. Are you Team Ethan or Team Hassan? I think that I'm not Team Terrorist. Yeah, I'm not Team Terrorism. And that's where I'm at. I think that's what's fair. And so, yeah, it's that simple.